Welcome back, Panther fam. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
This is State of Atlanta. Welcome back, dude.
Hey, man. How's it going?
It goes well. It goes very well. So we have not a lot to talk about tonight, and Tim's not with us. Yep. Tim's not with us, which, he kind of holds the whole thing together. So this should be over and done either really quickly or drawn out and horrible over the course
we
of
should
the
be
whole evening.
Really used to this by now, though.
Yeah, Tim actually has a life. This is what it's like to not have kids. To actually have a life and be able
absolutely, yeah,
and have vacations, traverse the world. I could traverse the world too, but I'd have to pay for two other little small people to go with me all the time.
Yeah, and it's not cheaper.
No, it's not at all. Like, you don't get like half off. Or yeah, whatever. So did you have a good weekend? Good week?
Yeah. I don't know what I did though. I think I didn't do anything.
That sounds like the best kind of weekend. I took down half of my fence over the weekend and tried to put it back up, and now I am covered in poison ivy, and another buddy of mine had to go to the ER for, like, I don't know, a brown recluse bite or something. So yeah, my backyard is fun. Who wants to come over and work in the yard with me?
Not I. Were you allergic when you were a kid? Have you always been allergic to poison ivy?
I had like one outbreak when I was not an outdoorsy kid, so you wouldn't find me like in the woods or anything. Like I was the bike riding, play in the yard kind of kid, but not hike through the woods, touch green things.
Oh, I'm like a run barefoot through the woods in shorts. Like, I would grab that stuff and just like rub it on my arms and like laugh because nothing would happen.
Well, you were very so you're volunteering to come over and help me work in the yard then, because you're not going to get any of this stuff.
I want to have like a controlled experiment, because I've heard people become allergic to it when they get older, and so I want to like rub a little on my skin and just see.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
I just want one patch.
Well, the funny thing is, I've been working in my yard quite a bit over the leading up to this summer right now, and I've known about this stuff in my backyard, and I've been very, very cautious of it the entire time. And I've told my wife over and over again, this was the week. It happened this week. I know I touched it. I know I'm going to have it all over me. It's going to be horrible. Never has it happened. I mean, it's happened in the past. Like, this year has never happened. And like I said, I had some buddies over helping me with the thing, and they're like all being super cautious about everything. I'm like, nope, I got rid of it. It's all good. We're fine. I didn't see any of it the entire time, and now my arms are just oozing out gross bodily fluid stuff. So
awesome.
Yeah. There goes that's my arrogance. That's what I get. So, but on to little Georgia State stuff. Not a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, we were going to talk about how awesome the baseball team is, but they ended up getting swept by Texas State over the weekend, therefore dropping down to the 7th seed in the SBC tournament, having to play a single elimination game against Monroe today. And I actually watched it. I had on ESPN Plus while I was working today, and it looks good. Bottom of the 4th, we're up 3-0. Top of the 5th, we're tied 3-3. And then I think it was top of the 5th. Sorry. I think we got 2 more runs in the 6th inning, I believe it was. So we're up 5-3, and then it just fell apart, and we lost 8-3 or whatever it was. No, 8-5.
It just wasn't meant to be. This team's been so inconsistent, it seems like, where they win these big games and they go on streaks, and then they go on these crazy losing streaks.
Well, we had a slow start. I think off the bat we were a little slow to start, and then just went on this hot streak. We ended the season 5-11, and that's just not how you want to be at the end of the season, is losing more than twice as many games as you've won. But that means that we started the season 25-16. So we were doing a lot better. It just, the wheels completely fell off as we had to play some of the better competition in the conference, I guess, or or teams figured us out or something. But yeah, it was a rough one to watch. And baseball is one of the roughest games to watch when you're losing, because it is that slower pace type game, and anything can change in a matter of minutes, but it often doesn't. And it's you spend the entire time just feeling horrible, which is what I was like.
And that 3-3 momentum shift, it like hardly ever is overcome, right? I mean,
and we were playing a team that the last team to get into the tournament. They were the 10 seed. We're the 7 seed. They're the 10 seed in Monroe. We beaten them, I think, 2-1 in the regular season. They'd only won like 9 conference games the entire season. We won, I think, 15. So this was on paper we should win. And
I mean, so there's a reason baseball isn't single elimination typically, right?
Yes. Yeah. You and I've talked about this quite a bit, is baseball is not meant to be a single elimination, a single game elimination type thing. There should have been a series, and who knows what would have happened then.
Yep.
But, the overwhelming kind of take on this, looking at social media and those on the kind of more closer to the programs than we are, was it's still a positive season for us. And I was like, I know it felt good earlier on, but how positive was it? I went back and looked at the past few years. Yeah, this was a positive season. We've not been a good baseball team. Normally having a winning percentage in the 300s outside of the 2020 year, which I don't count that because we only played 16 games. So we finished the season at 526. We won 30 games, 30 out of 57. Yeah, I think this is a sign of things pointing in the right direction.
Yeah.
And Stromdahl seems to know what he's doing out there. And hopefully we're going to be back in action next year. We've got some tough competition coming in with the new programs. They are, at least Southern Miss is a really good baseball program. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. And I would like to see us just, baseball to be picked up as a more fan supported program or a sport in the with Georgia State. Specifically,
just got to build a stadium right here.
I firmly feel like if we build that Hank Aaron, that's not right at all.
No.
Frank Aaron, my God. let me have some more vodka real quick.
I think what you're trying to say is if they build it, we will come.
Yes, indeed. I think you'll get a lot of support, especially you'll probably get a lot of people from just the community, because baseball is that kind of fun. Just, what's going on today? Oh, there's a baseball game going on. Let me go hang out, not watch the game, but like just hang out for a little bit.
I don't even know if there's sidewalks that like go to Panthersville.
Oh, well, if they do, they're underwater.
I'm just I just don't even that it's like such a weird like mixed residential area over there, and I don't even know if people know things are going on over there.
Oh, there's no way. It's so tucked away. I mean, I guess you do go by some residential areas, but I would have to imagine we feel like more like a nuisance to them there. But once we do move out, not much of one. Once we do move out, I have no idea what you do with that area because most of it is built on floodplains. It's not like you can build a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I don't know. Sell it.
Whoever buys it and like, all right, cool. Put your house on stilts.
It's fine.
You can play soccer here sometimes.
All you gotta do is buy extra insurance. That's all.
It's expensive.
Yeah,
they added
subsidized though.
My old house had after I bought it. No one told me this, but they went through and rezoned my lot, and like this back corner behind some trees that was not usable space to begin with was zoned as floodplain, and it made it harder for me to sell the house when I did, because
you're like, look guys, you can have this. I'll just give up that sliver.
Exactly. And
it's fine.
My house wasn't in danger. It would that spot would have had to have flooded by over 10 to 12 feet to get water to my house. So it's not like yes, that land will be underwater at some point. It will never affect the house. But
yeah.
Anyhow.
So back to baseball though. Was this coach's first year or second year? I feel like it was his second year, right?
This is his third year, isn't it?
Oh boy.
Didn't he start out during the pandemic year when we only got the 16 games?
That might be right. Yeah, and he was a good hire though. He had done well somewhere important.
Yeah, I think he started the baseball program at Gwinnett Tech or another smaller program here in the state, having had coached here under Coach Frady in the past. I could be making all this stuff up, but it sounds good.
No, it sounds right.
Let's go with it.
Yeah, no, and if we're on an upward trajectory, then I'll take it. All day.
Absolutely, yeah. And if we can
every season,
and if we can get this Hank Aaron Stadium built down in Summerhill, I think that will help the program out and finally be able to, create an atmosphere into a baseball game. Because there's some of these teams that we play against, and these teams that are coming in actually have a lot of fans that come out to their base. They sell baseball season tickets. Ours is free. Show up, you go to the game.
Baseball is usually something that's in the black for programs where that's like a athletic winner.
It's a revenue sport for many schools.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But we should probably move on now that you got Hank Aaron right, so you don't screw that up.
Before I mess it up again. So there was College Football News has been putting out like their little previews of all the different school football programs coming out this that. And they started with the Sunbelt schools last week, and so I was kind of anxious to find out what was said about Georgia State. So I was actually looking forward to this, and it came out today. And I don't want to say, when I originally wrote down some notes about it, was I've never been so disappointed in something and then in anything than I have like an actual Georgia State football season, having high expectations of something and then it doesn't pan out. But this was not that bad, but it was a really poorly written article. Somebody, I think it was John in our the State of Atlanta group chat, our Patreon group chat, made a comment that it was written by an AI, and I think that. Yeah, a crappy
I don't think
AI.
an AI would have made some of these mistakes.
Yeah, AIs tend to not spell players' names incorrectly.
That's right. And there was bad like spacing after commas and stuff. Like I think it's just a not edited piece.
Yeah, and referencing us being FCS multiple times.
We turned because we went full FCS in 2013. What?
Yes, and this is the best team we've had since going FCS. I'm like, well, yes, this is the best team. This would be the best team we've had since we went FCS. But last year's team was the best team we've had since going FCS, and the team before that was the best team we had before going FCS. So the dude, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, Pete Fiutak. I don't know.
Sounds like a bot to me.
Sounds like a bot, right? It was pretty bad. They misspelled Sam Pinkney's name. They harped on like the key transfer, which quarterback Stephen Krajewski from UConn we talked about last week. They talked to him multiple times, a factor that he could play in the game in the team, completely ignoring the fact that Michele Calasardo has been on the team for 2 years now and would obviously be the number 2 guy.
I don't think that's obvious. The fact that he got skipped over after the beginning of last season says a lot to me about where the coaches think that he is as far as playtime, because he didn't get any.
Well, he had his touchdown in the bowl game, like one pass for a touchdown in the bowl game in 2020.
Oh, you mean that game when Darren Granger played like lights out, just was like 100%? And
no, I meant the game before, when we had the season before, we had Quad in there.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, it was kind of garbage. There was actually some good stuff in there. I mean, and by good stuff, I mean it's the things you read in the offseason that makes you want to feel good about your team going into the season. Talking about all the positives and everything, but they're still predicting a 6.5 win total, which honestly is probably a reasonable expectation going into the season.
Sure.
But coming off of an 8-win season, I want them to say we're winning 13 games or 15.
Yeah.
14.
I was going through it like while you were loading this podcast, because that's how much I prepped for this. But I was actually like pretty struck by how good they think our offense is going to be. It seems like offensive line is good, running backs are good, Darren Granger's good, and the wide receivers are good. I think I got everybody. Tight ends are good too. It seems like everybody's in good shape, and they were basically like, Granger just has to be more accurate, and I'm on board with that. I mean, that's where I am too.
That and the defense has got to hold tight on third downs more often. I think that was mentioned like 3 times in the article, that the defense has to get stops on third down.
Well, and defense had a lot more questions, it felt like, as you're reading it. It's like, start reading between the lines on some of this stuff. It seems like the offense is going to be pretty solid, and the defense has just a ton of question marks and is not nearly as I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, our defense has been just like, not just a question mark, but like a weird, like confused, like the little birds spinning around your head type thing in cartoons. Like, what's going on? I'm clueless, because we talk about our defense being bad, but then we do stop the teams from scoring. We just give up a lot of yards, but keep them from scoring. And then our defense actually looks good by the numbers. You're like, but it seems like we're getting blown out. And then, yeah, it's weird. I guess it's like, what is it? The soft zone or whatever that Fuquay likes to run.
Bend, don't break.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm okay with a shit ton of yards as long as they don't score. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Of course. One more thing was I commented on Panther Talk about this, talking about how bad it sounded. It was written, and Ben Moore's comment was, it's one of those issues of this guy knows more about college football than we do, but we know more about Georgia State than he does. And I'm like, yeah, but spell names right. Does he know the difference between FBS and FCS?
No, he needs an editor. This didn't go through two people. That's all. He didn't submit it to an editor. He just submitted. He just hit publish.
Yeah, it's college football news. I mean, I guess they're a legit site.
That's all.
Whatever.
They just don't have an editor that all this is getting filtered through.
Yeah. Anyhow, it was good to read something about it. It was fun. I had expectations for a good, fun read, and I spent more time critiquing it than I did enjoying it. So thanks, Pete. FIUTAC, whatever your name is.
FIUTAC.
Try.
Hold on. FIUTAC.
Yeah, whatever. The first line came out for the South Carolina game, and we opened up as a 11-point dog in the game.
Hey, I sent that news.
Yeah, I'd already seen it, but yes, you did post it. But I was kind of impressed by this has got to be the first time we've not been a 3 or 4 touchdown dog in a game against a P5 opponent opening up.
That's right. Yeah, and then the article gave us a ton of respect. It was talking about how we we beat Tennessee, and we it said we had Auburn on the ropes, and they were talking about how we've kind of come out the gate now as somebody who scares the hell out of SEC teams, which is cool.
Vanderbilt, you're on deck. You're in the hole. This is your next to bat.
Or ACC this year with North Carolina.
That North Carolina game, everybody has all these aspirations that we could beat them this year, and I'm like, did you watch last year's game? I want to think that we can beat them. We have them right where we want them, but after last year, we thought we had a shot with them last year, and they just beat the absolute snot out of us. That being said, we had no offense. We were still playing quad at this point because that was week 2 game, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
After getting blown out by Army at home. Yeah. So the South Carolina game, it's looking like it's going to be a night game. Everything I'm reading, people I'm talking to that are kind of closer to the programs and everything, South Carolina always opens up at night, and which is fine. That could be a fun trip up there. But my question is, this is the game I wanted to take the bus to. I just don't know if I'm going to get people to ride the bus if it's going to be getting back at like 2 a.m. in Atlanta. And then also I only have the driver for 15 hours, so we can't get up there early and tailgate all day. I only have the driver for so many hours.
Yeah, no, but we'll do that, and then we'll just pass out on the bus ride home. It's no big deal.
Wake up and party at your house late night.
Yes.
Excellent. We'll have everybody park right on your street there, and we'll be good to go.
All right.
I don't think your street's long enough to actually hold the number of cars of people that were even on the bus last year, let alone a packed bus.
It's public parking, man. You can park wherever you want.
So right now you are team. Let's do a bus to South Carolina. That's where you. That's where you stand.
Yeah. I got tickets. I'll buy tickets to that.
All right, cool. We'll see what happens. We get
regular price tickets that everybody else has to pay for as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want any of this increased price. You get to do that.
I get to do that. Yeah, I paid a lot more than everybody else did last year.
Find a sponsor.
How much what kind of stock do you take in looking at things like returning production? Like how much of an offense or a defense is returning from one year to the next? Does that mean a lot to you, or does it not mean a lot to you?
I think that you can make some guesstimates about like how somebody performed and how they will continue to perform in the future, and even that is sort of frustrating, or is sort of not easy to figure out. But I think team cohesion is a thing, like whether the team is gelling or not. It is actually an important factor, I mean, I think that matters. And so every single year our team is on average a quarter different, 25% different on average. And
right.
I think that's pretty big, and so I think every team just needs to be judged on its own.
Well, I asked the question because there was a release of like the returning production across all teams in FBS, Peter FIUTAC, FBS, not FCS. And so they looking at the Sun Belt teams. Georgia State comes in as the third most returning of production from last year.
Weren't we really high in that last year too?
Yeah, well, I think that was the weird thing about last year. Like everyone was high because everyone's coming off of the pandemic. the
Yeah, but
extra
I feel like we
years.
were top 10 or top 15 or
Yeah,
something.
that's because none of our players were going into the draft. All the other teams were losing players to the draft, and ours was like, nope, I'm going to be selling insurance after this season if I don't stay in school another year.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, the fact still remains we had more returning players, and we ended up with a pretty good season, but it wasn't like
Yeah,
super
but the
impressive.
two players that we talked about the most in the offseason, Quad Brown and Destin Coates, ended up being absolute busts last year.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. And
So
we thought
anyhow,
Quad was going to really just bring it into it for
oh
us,
yeah,
you know.
I was saying Dan Ellington 2.0 on Quad. That's what I thought. I should have said Dan Ellington 4.0 because he's Quad. I don't know that many
Oh
upgrades,
boy.
but
Well,
no.
I mean, hindsight, you shouldn't have said it at all. So
No, he was more like Dan Ellington Windows 10. That's what it was like.
wow,
Wasn't that the bad one? Windows 10, the one
I don't
everyone
know.
hated.
I don't know.
Not XP. There was one Windows version everybody hated. Nerd jokes. Anyhow, Georgia State comes in 15th overall in the nation for returning production, only behind Southern Miss and Troy. So
All right. Wait, seriously, it's like Southern Miss is Sun Belt, right? Now
right,
is that?
yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
they
all
are
Sun
now
Belt.
this look like so Sunbelt is 4th overall. Troy's 11th overall. We're 15th overall.
Okay. I thought you said we were third overall.
3rd in the Sunbelt. Overall in the Sunbelt. 3rd overall.
I
in the
thought you meant
Sun Belt.
overall, like in FBS, we were third overall.
15th. We're 15th overall. And so, but
Okay.
even then, the numbers aren't that big. So we're 15th and Troy's 11th, and the difference is 80% to 78%. So it's still like, small numbers. Oddly enough, Coastal is last place in the Sun Belt and nearly last place in all of FBS football at 125, with only 45% of their production returning from last year.
Yeah, but see, on a team like them, like that could be good, right? They want to see turnover because that team sucked.
Coastal?
Well, Coastal last year did suck. Remember, they only beat like one team that had a winning record.
Yes, but they lost to us, which is actually a sign of truly how bad they sucked. Was they lost to Georgia State?
They won a bunch of games to a bunch of people who had losing records, and then they lost every other game to anyone who had a winning record.
True. Yeah,
They sucked.
yeah,
They sucked last
exactly.
year.
I'm falling into the same thing that I hate that people do is crowning Coastal as being like this legit elite program when
I
they've
know you
literally
want them
had.
to be a rival so badly.
I really don't want them to be a rival.
know
I
you
just
say
want
that.
them to change the color of their damn field. It's so
I just-
ugly.
I just feel it. I feel it from your heart that you really
No,
want them to be a rival.
my thing is less with teams. It's more about fan bases, and that just fan base just sunk down to the trash down south levels immediately after they won a couple of games.
It's when
And
they
then-
shit in my bathroom. All right. Sorry about that.
Yes. That's why you have your problems with them. But even then, it was then the media and the social media started crowning them as like this legit program. Like this is an elite G5 program. Like they're the next Boise State or something. And I'm like, they had a good year during a pandemic, and then played, like you said, a bunch of crappy teams the following year, beating no teams with a winning record or barely any teams with a winning record.
I think they beat one team in the end, like in the bowl game or something. They beat it. They won against somebody with a winning record, but everything else was a loss.
So, well, then I'll take it up a level and say second to last in the Sun Belt was Lafayette at 123 with only 46% of their team returning. And I wonder if they're counting their head coach in there. I'm not sure if that's part of it.
Maybe they should count him a little higher. I don't know.
Anyhow, I just thought it was interesting. It's not there, like you said. There's not a lot you could read out of it, but it is something interesting to kind of think about what it looks like for your program. And it's nice to see that we have production coming back, not just bodies, but production coming back.
I think talking heads take a lot of give that a lot of credit, but I've not actually looked to see what it actually means. Like go and double check everyone who's a top 10 in percentage of returning production and what are they able to do the following year. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, and then also your team changes, or sorry, your schedule changes a lot in the following year. You've got your out of conference changes, sometimes dramatically. Your out of conference changes, like going from where we had in the past playing an FCS team every year and not playing one last year, not playing one this year, then back to playing them next year. You've got those G5 and even the P5 opponents can change dramatically from one year to the next. Like we're not, that's what I was about to say. We're not playing in Auburn this year, but hell, after last year, I wish we were playing in Auburn right now. We may know how to finish the game out.
I mean, hopefully our coach wants to beat South Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you get hired if you beat them? Is that how that works?
You mean like if we beat South Carolina, you think they'll recruit him?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying like, if when it comes down to their next coaching hire, do you think that a guy that's beat you comes into consideration because
Oh
he
yeah,
lives in Columbia? Obviously
true.
that's where you'd want to you want to work where you live. That's what most of us do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
That's all I got. Sorry, man. Sorry.
he had he was coach when South Carolina lost a lot of games, so this could be another loss for South Carolina, responsible for Coach Elliott.
I guess.
Does that go in his win or loss column? So
Well, for his own personal win and loss column, that's a question, but for us, big win.
So it is interesting going this season. He's 30-30 as a coach right now. So this season, winner, if we have a winning season or a losing season, this determines whether Coach Elliott is a winner or a loser as a head coach.
Is that including his interim head coach at South Carolina?
I knew you were going to ask that question, and I did not look up the answer. I'm going to say it does include it because 30 games of 60 games over the past 5 years here. I don't know. Maybe that math doesn't work out.
Well, it'd be 12 regular season games and
30,
a
30
game.
60 games. 60 games he would have coached because he's 30.
He only coached like four or five South Carolina games.
Yeah, that was kind of a funny situation. Like Coach Spurrier just like bolt. He's like, I don't think Coach Spurrier ever had a losing season under his tenure, or if he
Probably
did, it was like way like in the Duke years or something like that. And it was like, I don't want to have a lose. I don't lose in my career with a losing record. So, Coach Elliott, you're in.
Have fun.
Lose to Citadel next week. Congratulations, mission accomplished. Let's see. I had one more thing, or kind of two more things. Oh, so this is something that's not really been discussed about for Sunbelt, but I thought it was kind of an interesting thought experiment. Was I guess the NCAA is like loosening up on their division requirements for teams over 10, 12 teams or whatever it is, not requiring divisions and changing scheduling up. And I know that part of what we did, or what the Sunbelt did with adding the 4 new schools, was trying to create those close rivalries or those close divisions of games. But if we were to abandon divisions and do something like where you play, you have like 3 protected games. You have 3 teams you play every year. So obviously for us, that'd be like the Trash Down South and Troy or somebody. And then the other 5 conference games would alternate. It'd be 5 teams from the rest of the conference. You'd play them one year, and the other 5 teams, you'd play them the next year or 2 years, however you want to.
That way it doesn't take 8 years to play, somebody in the West.
Yeah, so I was just kind of curious. What do you think? Do you like the idea of us maintaining divisions, especially right now where it looks like the East is very, very heavily loaded and the West is very, very weak, and having this championship game, that will likely be played in the Western Division team's home because the East teams beat up on each other the entire time versus getting the number 1 and number 2 team across everybody, and you have a little bit more variety in your scheduling year in, year out in the conference. Which do you like better?
I think you only gave me one choice still. You talked it up quite a bit, but I think you made some really good points, and I think I agree with you about just picking I don't think there's any like really hot rivalry. There's not a ton of hot rivalries in the Sun Belt, right? I mean, you have like Trash Down South and us, Trash Down South and App State. State and like what Coastal probably feels right.
Marshall, I think they'd probably say Marshall would be their number 2. I think everybody at Appy State would say Trash Down South is their number 1. I think Marshall would be their number 2. When I was kind of going through this and thinking about it, I had a hard time thinking about a third team for most of the schools, nearly all the schools, because I don't care about most of them. But like
Troy, we'd be Trash Down South, and
I say Troy only because of proximity. Yeah. I don't know if they would want us on their rotate or be their protected game, but yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
You would assume like the in-state rival would be always, so Lafayette would always have Monroe.
Sure.
USA and Troy would always be on there, but it was getting to that third game where I was trying to figure out which schools they'd want. But the Marshall, the ODU, the JMU that kind of came in wanting this East Coast division. I'm not sure they would get on board for this, but I do like it as an idea. If we're going to be playing a 14 team conference, this would be a way, a 3-5 scheduling would be a way to see these teams more often. You would see potentially every single school in the conference twice within your 4 years of going to school.
Yeah, no, I think that is something to be considered because it is a little ridiculous that there are teams that take so long to get back to.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, I really want to go see us play at Southern Miss only because, there's no real reason other than, Brett Favre. And, it's a program that I remember hearing about forever and everything. But so
that's a solid program.
So we're playing at Southern Miss this year in the opening of them coming here, and I can't make it. I've got a wedding or something dumb that I shouldn't say something dumb, but something that's dumber than going to a football game I've got to go to.
Are they're playing here?
No, we're playing at Southern Miss this year.
Oh.
So as far as so we'll get them back in 4 or 5 years. But as far as when we play back in, was it Hattiesburg again? It'll be 7 or 8 years before that happens. I'll be in my 50s before we go out there again, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to leave the state by then because that's pretty old, right? When you're in your 50s, that's like ancient, decrepit.
Also, that's a long time. You might be under house arrest. Like anything could happen.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe I'll be dead.
Could be dead.
There you go. Yeah, you heard it here first.
From you, not me. I just agree.
Yeah, you're probably dead. It's a good safe bet. Yeah.
It seems like a distinct possibility. You live a rough life.
as I finish
you
this,
have a lot of fun.
Well, that and then with the kids, I feel like are actively trying. If the kids are not trying to kill themselves, they're trying to kill their parents. That's kind of, but it's more of a slow, deadly thing. It's like, I'm going to wear you down. I'm going to give you enough heart attacks, many heart attacks. My 3.5-year-old, I'm letting her walk to school with me now instead of doing a stroller or driving her. And it's a big sidewalk. It's got like 6 foot, 7 foot wide sidewalk. And we're walking, and she just decides to run as close to the curb as possible while a car was coming by. I look at the guy in the truck, and he just is like freaking out that this kid is running in front of him. And she was fine. She was multiple feet away from ever getting to the curb. But kids try to kill themselves, and they try to kill you slowly with many heart attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The only other thing I had to talk about, which is not that big of a deal, so we're 32 minutes in, was I guess it got announced today that Charlotte, who we're playing here again this year, they have like some $101 million athletics master plan vision, which I'd love to have a master plan vision as well.
We've had master plans.
Yeah, they were not that great.
And they don't go anywhere. I mean, it's cool. It's a way to raise some money right now, and then
this was pretty good. This one's actually pretty good. They give a time frame and they have some renderings of what it's going to look like. But when I first saw it, I was kind of like, crap, another school. This is them getting into the AAC. This is them having a plan for for their future. But I look at it, and it really kind of brings them up to where we are. There's one difference. There's one significant, big, huge difference. But part of their plan adds nearly 10,000 seats to their existing football stadium to take it to 30,
which was built with that in mind. They always had like a modular plan for that to
it was one of those Costco. It was one of those Costco stadiums. You go there and you buy it from Costco, and somebody comes out and assembles it, and you can always have the upgrade plan for later on. You buy the extended warranty in case the seat falls out or whatever.
I thought they were pretty smart with it. I remember when they unveiled the stadium plans, they were like, here's phase 1, here's phase 2, here's phase 3. It can grow up to be something that a P5 might be fine with.
So this will take it up 10,000 to just over 30,000 seats. Okay, so that's all right. Cool. So you are where we are now.
Are they selling 10,000 seats?
No, we're at 28,000 before we open up the third level to our fourth level, whatever it is, to our stadium. Is updated locker rooms for both football and basketball. I'm like, all right. The one little picture I saw in the tweet, their locker room is no better than what we already have at Center Park Stadium.
And of course, one can touch our locker room. Our locker room is bomb. I mean, it's crazy awesome.
It doesn't have teal in it, which is even better.
Well, also, it was the Braves locker room. I mean, it's awesome.
Actually, it was visitors' locker room.
Really?
Yeah, that's the line of the bullpen was up is visitors.
It's
locker
really
room.
nice. I remember we
Oh,
did
put a
the
lot of
coaches
money in
show
that.
thing there.
They put a lot of money into it. They put a lot of money into it. And then and then like basketball, well, obviously we're getting brand new locker rooms in the Convocation Center. So yeah, you're right there with the only thing they're really getting that is super huge out of this $101 million. And why do you say $101 million? Like
That's how
$100
much it
million.
costs, man.
I get like, just so you can say over 100 million, like 101, just 100. And people, I don't know.
You have a lot of
Why
hate in your heart, David.
I really do. I hate Charlotte. I don't really hate Charlotte. Uh, but no, they're getting an indoor practice facility, a 97,000 square feet, a full football field, indoor practice facility, which does seem like that has become the thing that little, I don't know, cherry or whatever that they hang over recruits now. Is like, look what we have when it's bad weather outside.
Well,
You can
wait, are we talking
plan.
about like a one of those aluminum
No,
sheds?
this one does look like a legit indoor practice facility versus what the Trash Down South has, like their mobile home trailer tent. They can put up their aluminum.
It's one of those
Their
like
aluminum
corrugated
siding.
aluminum sheds, is what it is. It's like carport, I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a carport. No, Charlotte actually looks like they're getting a legit building from the pictures I saw. But so my point was I got a little bummed out when I saw it originally that they were doing it, but then again, it brings Charlotte up to where we currently already are.
yeah. And I don't know. I've not seen any recruits, and I don't follow recruits very much anymore. But I've not seen any interviews or anything like that where people talk about the indoor practice facility of anybody. I don't necessarily think that's a big deal. I remember when UGA didn't have one, and everyone, like the media, talked about it a lot, but I don't think any players ever talked about it. And finally, they were like, "Fine, we'll do it." I mean, but they had money for it the whole time.
But
It's just not necessary.
didn't they win a national championship after getting their indoor practice facility?
They won one before too.
Well, yeah, well, like what, before all these before these coaches were born.
They won one.
In 80, was that 85?
80, I believe.
80.
Yeah, 80. Herschel Walker, who's winning right now. I think he won.
Yeah, well, they've called it. They've called Herschel Walker
Yeah,
as
they called a lot of these really early.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were kind of known. Did Brian Kemp get called? Because I
He
feel
got
like
called already too. Yeah.
okay, he had not gotten called when I whatever. So
Yeah.
I was looking at like the lieutenant governor numbers, how many people were voting for Democrats, how many were voting for Republican, to see how many votes you need to get for your lieutenant governorship. But I talked to a couple people over the weekend, and I got them to vote for you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I got signs. I got signs now. So if anyone wants some signs, I got them.
Hit him up at Graham4GA.
Yeah, right on. Oh, thanks, David. I wasn't even gonna do all that. Appreciate you.
I'm pretty awesome. Well, it's what Tim's not here, so I gotta fill the void of just saying words. But anyhow, that being said, I think we're good. A good solid 40 minutes in. Good solid 38 for everything. Head
A
over to last call.
surprisingly good episode.
Yeah, I really like it when we have three of us here to get more opinions. But when we do this virtually, which I think we're just going to end up doing it from now on this way, the flow is much better when it's two people, whether it's just you and me or just Tim and myself. I really want to get that episode where it's just you and Tim, and I get to be the one that come in and comment and just poke and prod and see how you guys handle everything.
Oh Lord.
What are we talking about today, Tim? I don't know, Ryan.
Hopefully somebody comments soon and we can just talk about that.
On a 15-second delay.
I would probably try to take it more seriously than I do.
Oh, I'm glad that you don't take it seriously at all now.
David, I rely on you quite a bit. I'll be honest.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. I am looking forward to last call because I've got a vodka and a half to finish during last call.
I got another tall boy.
All right. Well, let's head over and do it. So last call, you find it on our Patreon page, patreon.com/State of Atlanta. It's free on Friday mornings, available immediately to our Patreon members. $3 a month, get you early access to the last call, get you access to our private group chat, which is always a lot of fun throughout the week. Just talk about Georgia State with diehard fans. And discounts on our merchandise at merch.stateofatlanta.com. Always discounted for our Patreon members and whatever else we do. buses and whatever parties, always early access to all that kind of stuff. So please consider subscribing. $3 a month, and it helps us out, pays for these cool mics and everything else that we can try to do. Yeah, find us there, patreon.com/DaveAtlanta. Say goodbye, Ryan.
Goodbye, Ryan.